Woman from Connecticut, Ms. Esty, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, last Friday, this House blew right through the statutory deadline to enact a budget resolution. Let's set aside for a moment the fact that passing a budget last Friday was required by law. The real injustice to the American people is that Congress has once again failed to fulfill the most basic responsibilities that the American people sent us here to carry out. A budget is supposed to reflect the values of the American people. It should be a roadmap of Congress's plan for supporting working families, creating middle-class jobs, and strengthening our education system. It should be a roadmap for lifting barriers to opportunity, supporting our nation's innovators, and helping startups and small businesses to get off the ground. It should be a roadmap for keeping Americans safe at home and abroad. Now, let's be clear. The proposal that came out of the Budget Committee did none of these things. Dismantling Medicare won't improve our economic security. Abandoning public schools won't lift barriers to opportunity. But the way forward is not to simply throw up our hands and abandon the budget process entirely. A budget is not a political exercise. We don't pass budgets when doing so is easy and walk away from our jobs when it gets hard. Republicans and Democrats need to come together to craft a budget that reflects the priorities of the American people. A bipartisan budget that envisions a smarter, leaner government, one that provides predictability and support for good-paying jobs and increases opportunity for all. We need a budget to rebuild America by investing in our transportation and infrastructure. I worked very hard to successfully pass a 5-year highway bill that was signed into law late last year. But according to the American Society of Civil Engineers, the United States needs to invest more than $3.6 trillion by 2020 to bring our infrastructure up to basic standards. Nowhere is this truer than in my home state of Connecticut, where we have some of the oldest infrastructure in the country and where we rely on federal funding to fix crumbling roads, bridges, and transit systems. Our budget should encourage innovation and entrepreneurship. Connecticut has a long, proud manufacturing tradition. We are home to 5,000 manufacturers, many of them small and family-owned, and I know they can compete with anyone if they have a level playing field, and we need a budget to help us create one. And supporting innovators means investing not just in infrastructure, but in infostructure. Our electrical grid and the physical building blocks of the Internet, which are vital to the success of startups and small businesses throughout the country. Madam Speaker, in Connecticut and around the nation, we need a budget that invests in STEM education and 21st century jobs, commits to growing our manufacturing sector, and provides the resources we need to fight the opioid epidemic that is tearing apart so many families. The American people want to see Congress take bold action. Our budget should set us on a path to leadership in today's and tomorrow's global economy. A budget is much more than a statement of principles. It's a road mapping for lifting opportunity. It's an investment in our infrastructure and the research and development we need to power 21st century careers. It's an investment in the American people. It's time that we in this House put our responsibility to the American people before partisanship and political games. When the people we represent at home stop doing their jobs, they don't get paid. In Congress, we should work the same way. We should pass the No Budget, No Pay Act because members of Congress should only get paid when they do their jobs. If we worked under No Budget, No Pay, I guarantee you the House would have passed a budget last Friday. So I call on my colleagues. Let's do the job the American people sent us here to do. Let's do the job we are paid to do. Let's go to the table, Democrats and Republicans, and hammer out a budget that supports good-paying jobs, grows our economy, keeps us safe, and truly reflects the priorities of the American people. Thank you, and I yield back.
The gentlelady yields